Good morning. So today is the start of another series. We are going to use the same decks that I used in the Ophiuchus welcome back, thank you reading, and I do want to give a shout out to another one of my supporters. I guess I shouldn't say their name, but they did reach out to me on Buy Me a Coffee link and bought me a tea. Being that I don't drink coffee, I've tried for so long. I tried for a long time, several times to drink coffee, and I just could not. Anyhow, so thank you so much. You know who you are. You're supporting my channel, and that person just really liked the direction that I'm heading the channel, which I fully appreciate the support. I certainly do. So today I am going to continue with our series readings. We did Ophiuchus already, and so I actually made some dice. Yes, dice. I don't know where they're at though. And I use those to help me decide here they are, what sign to read for. Now, we do have a new moon coming up, and I'm going to do a new moon reading. So here are the die. They actually glow in the dark. This lighter part does. So anyway, we did Ophiuchus, and we will do Aries today. Okay. We have a new moon in the constellation of Cancer, but it is in the sign of Leo. So whether you follow tropical or the sidereal, the true sky, that's up to you. You can I read both of the energies just to encompass everyone, and I do feel that there are 13 signs, Ophiuchus being the 13th one. I think 13 is a magical number, being that there's 13 moon cycles in a year. 13 is the M is the 13th letter. Moon, mom, mother, Mashika, and I feel 13 is a magical number, and it's not as even as the 12, but that's okay. Our life isn't even, so that's how I feel, and I know there are others who do not feel that way. So it is time to get to the reading. This is Tarot of the Abyss by Anatorian. This is the Baroque Tarot, or I don't know if it's I think it's Baroque Tarot by Lamucci, which was a Kickstarter a few years back. And then this is the Lantern Oracle, and by Angelina Mirabito, and I really love this oracle for shadow work and working with the self. So I'm going to do something different today. I was called to actually pull the oracle card first. So let's go ahead and get started. We've got our elements here. We've got fire, water, air represented by the shell, and then our earth is this quartz crystal point. Now, in my ancestry, we used something called a caracol, which is the seashell here, and we blow air into it, and it makes a nice horn kind of sound. And we use that to represent air. A feather can also be used, and anything, I guess, that represents air to the practitioner. So one thing I do like to stress is when you have a practice, it is yours, right? It is yours. You've got to find what works with you, what you're comfortable with, what you feel drawn to. And I feel drawn to the caracol. All right, here we go. For Aries. So we have perspective. Number 39. Oh my gosh, my cats are at the door. Give me one moment. I fostered, well, I guess I did. We found some kittens. My son had some kittens. His girlfriend's mother had some kittens in her yard, and she wanted to send them off to the SPCA, and I decided not to. I was like, let me oh, you know what, let me read this. I said, let me raise these kittens, and I did. They still had their umbilical cord, their ears folded, eyes closed, so they were pretty young, and I bottle fed them for quite some time, 6 weeks. And there were 3. I decided to keep 2. They seem to be a bonded pair. They are a bonded pair. So now that brings our count to 6 pets, 3 cats, 3 dogs. And all of our cats are tabbies. Imagine that. I have a tabby that's kind of sepia, which is one of the kittens. She's kind of a brownish tabby, but kind of like a tea-stained tabby, I guess you could say. And then there's a monochrome tabby. And then I have a brown tabby who lived here before. His name's Todd. He may have made some appearances in a few videos. Okay, perspective. A calm, clear mind is free to see differently. Our emotions are all about perspective. This is why we often hear a lot of caution around our emotions' potential to lead us astray. Our thoughts and feelings inform our experience of a situation. Our attitude influences our predisposition to certain thoughts or feelings and often thwarts our capacity to perceive with a calm, clear mind. We cannot possibly have absolute objectivity or encompass... Oh, goodness. Sorry about that. I forgot to put my phone on silent, but I do have a loud kitten over here playing with the whatever she can find. Okay, so let me go back to that. We cannot possibly have absolute objectivity or encompass all different perspectives one situation can be seen from. However, when the distorting filter of our attitude or immature thoughts and emotions is removed, a broader spectrum of how things can be seen becomes available to us. So we all have filters. I call them colorings, and we're colored through our lives, through our past and our experiences, and that can give us fears, that can give us biases, that can give us prejudices, and in some ways those things can be helpful because it's a warning, like, hey, you've been through this before, you don't need to go through this again, or hey, red flag. But sometimes it can be applied to a situation unjustly, unnecessarily, and some biases or some perceptions can be applied blanketly without any kind of without any kind of discretion as to who it's being applied to. And so this card is about changing a perspective by removing those colorings that you've added. Okay, so we see this guy sitting on a mountaintop with binoculars looking over there at that lighthouse. Okay, so this is a lot of reading, but I'm going to skip. It's just giving some examples on some things for further clarity on how you might use the approach to see things differently in an overwhelming or less concrete situations. Here is an increasingly metaphorical example. Let us say that you are afraid of drowning in water that you are unable to see is at a high neck level. Instead of splashing about in fear, you could question the fear and find ways of seeing your situation differently, or in this particular circumstance, more realistically. You might ask yourself, am I really in danger of drowning, or is it my fear of drowning clouding what I'm seeing to be real? And is this as deep as I think? How would I perceive this if I did not have such strong emotions about it? How would right now be for me if I was a confident swimmer instead of someone who just knows how to swim? What if I stopped kicking my legs and pushing them down to see if my feet would touch the floor? There is a tremendous power in separating ourselves from the emotion and negative thinking toward what we are comfortable with. Nothing is what it seems when heightened emotions and manic thoughts are involved. That is so true, because when you're manic or when you're very emotional about a situation, you can't really see things clearly because you're in a state of panic, like a flight or fight mode, and you're really picking up on things that might not be there. You might be putting them there because you already have a biased opinion of the situation. You already have a biased opinion that you're in danger. So any clue or any kind of anything that you see is going to point towards danger because you're in a manic situation. Your mind is already convinced that you're in a situation of danger, so anything that you see is going to point towards danger. So definitely this is a time to be calm, and look at the situation in a different manner. You always have the power to seek new ways to perceive and feel about anything differently. The key is always available to use when you feel trapped or overwhelmed. If you can see something differently, you can experience it differently. The Crone's message: the only thing that can limit you is your perspective. All right. So we will put this, I wonder how that will, can't really see it. It's so dark. Okay, we'll put it down here. I don't think all of the spread's not going to totally fit over here. Perhaps we can just put it over here. Oh, near the altar. Yeah. Okay. Don't worry, I'm going to get this set up all working without a hitch. Is that the correct term? All right, so we're going to use the Baroque Tarot to pull out our three main energies, okay? And we're going to work with them as they relate to this card. Number 39, perspective. A calm, clear mind is free to see differently, okay? And so I know with our Aries, we can be kind of hot-headed, right? The Aries energy is really quick to ignite, but also quick to blow out, for lack of a better word. Quick to extinguish. There, that's what I was looking for. And so I know Aries can just be very impulsive and just kind of jump to conclusions sometimes, but that's okay. We need that ignition in certain aspects of our lives. We need that energy sometimes. Okay, let's see what we have. Death, 13. Page of Swords in reverse, and the Nine of Wands in reverse. Okay, I think we can put that over there, huh? Okay, I'm gonna grab, oh, I'm sorry, I did not mean to nudge the camera. I have wires. I have a camera suspended above me on my curtain rod, and I've got the wires coming or kind of around my head in a rainbow, connecting to my computer. Okay, so, oh, you guys can see I've got an oolong tea here. Oolong tea, for those of you that don't know, is kind of a cross between, it's in between green tea in the way that it's processed and a black tea. And oolong is a beautiful tea. It's kind of rolled, I think. And when it is steeped, the tea leaves unfurl and they expand and stretch out into their natural beauty. And it's just a beautiful sight to see a steeped oolong tea, especially when you see where it came from, because they're really small and tight and almost like little balls. Oolong tea is a wonderful tea to experience, I think. Okay, so we've got Death, Scorpio, Page of Swords, so this is Earth of Air, and then Nine of Wands in reverse, which is Fire. So of course Death is asking, is letting you know that there's change, there's some sort of transformation, perhaps an ending. And I really kind of see that it's fitting here with the Page of Swords in reverse and the Nine of Wands in reverse in perspective, because we've got Page, who is very inquisitive, earth energy, very tactile, wants to really get in there. You know, that's the energy of a page. It's very energetic and very apprentice like, I guess you could say. And he's in the suit of swords, which he's in the mind suit, and he's really in his thoughts, and can be a bit impulsive in this reverse position. Impulsive in his way of thinking and maybe creating biases and such. And then the Nine of Swords is, the Nine of Wands is a card of defense in a way, kind of like, come on, throw some more stuff at me, you know, I'm still here. And with it being in reverse, I feel that it's time, coupled with death, it's time to change this modality, this way of thinking, where you are impulsively in you're impulsive in your thoughts, and you're impulsive in your defensiveness. And it's time to perhaps turn the flame down a bit. So, because it's too bright, this flame is a little too bright, putting off a little too much energy, and it's keeping you from seeing things in a clear manner. It's keeping you from clarity. And so death is asking you to change that. It's asking you to move away from this impulsiveness, asking you to move away from being defensiveness and being so quick to be on a side of defending yourself, of thinking that others are here to attack you. So let's pull from Tarot of the Abyss. This is one of my favorite decks. Tarot of the Abyss. Anatorian just recently put out a new deck. I can't remember what it's called, but I almost ordered it, and I had to cancel my pre-order. It's going to be out in mass market, but I canceled my pre-order, and I was sent the deck anyway, and I opened it, and so I had a quick little preview, and then I was like, oh no, I canceled this order, I can't keep this. But seeing her work in color and in person and holding it is amazing. I canceled the order, and I couldn't keep it. I would have, but I do like this. I think black and white sometimes shows a lot better than can convey emotion before it's colored. Okay, here we go. Ooh, King of Wands right here under death. So this is air of fire, and I like this for you. Then we've got the Knight of Swords, which is fire of air. Two of Wands, more fire for you, Aries. Three of Swords, and interestingly enough, we had the Three of Swords in reverse over here in the bottom of the deck. The Lovers, Gemini energy. The Fool, more major arcana. Strength, major arcana in reverse. Page of Wands in reverse, and Four of Wands in reverse. All right, let me sit with this a bit. See what we have here. I am noticing how this side of the spread is darker, and we start moving over to lighter and lighter over here. Even with death here, down here is darker, and as we move up, it's lighter. But then we have these two where the sky is pointing downwards towards the light. Okay. So our King of Wands, I have to be cognizant of the time. I have to head out to work, to the office. In my other life, I am a bookkeeper, and I do accounting for a doctor's office. He has about four practices, And I also keep the books for a speech consultant, and he sends out contractors to school districts to help children with speech related issues, and I keep his books. But he's a simple client. He's very easy. The doctor's a little bit more involved, of course. Um, and there's much more accounting involved with the doctor, which I love. So, anyway, I digress. So that's why I'm keeping a mindful eye on the time. Okay, so King of Wands, here we are. So all the kings are air, and with him being in the suit of wands, he's fire of air, so he's very fiery, except he has his fire under control because he's the highest octave of his suit, I guess. Yeah, he's just the highest octave. And then the Knight of Swords is he's fire of air, so it's kind of opposite, right? We've got air of fire, then we've got fire of air. So what this is telling me is that there needs to be a change in the way that you are working with your fire air energy. We have strength here in reverse, and that means that it's just not under the control that we would like it to be under. Strength is a card of really mastering oneself and mastering the self in that you have full control of that wild beast, so to say, that's inside of you, that flame that can sometimes go awry and burn a little too brightly. And with this being in reverse, I feel that it's just not in control, and it's kind of in line with these three cards we're saying up here. Is there needs to be a change in the way that you are perceiving things and that you're working with them on a mental level, but also on a way that you're dealing with them on a passionate, on a physical, on a working level, right? You're letting your thoughts kind of cloud your mind and put you into this defensive situation that you don't necessarily have to be in. And I think it kind of your flame just starts to burn a little too brightly, and it can push people into a situation where they feel like they need to perhaps go on the offense, and then in turn you feel like you need to go on the defense. So here under the Page of Swords in reverse, we have Two of Wands, Three of Swords, Page of Wands in reverse. Both of our pages are in reverse, and I have, it's the Page of Swords and the Page of Wands. We have the King of Wands and the Knight of Swords over here. And so this is telling me that this energy that's putting out, I feel, is very just immature, but not, like 7-year-old immature. It's more of a lower octave of being able to understand what's truly happening to you. Like this card says, perspective. If we can step out of our emotions and step out of our feelings and really look at a situation in a way that is unbiased, in a way that, and this is totally hard, it takes lots and lots of practice, but there's a reason that you're there. Three of Swords, that is like the heartbreak card, but with it being in the suit of Swords, there's some sort of mental wound, I would like to say, that is keeping you, that causes you to sort of jump to these conclusions. And it really kind of has you in this Two of Wands situation where you're just kind of looking for things, you're kind of seeking out that, you're seeking out that combat, you're seeking out some sort of conflict for some reason. And I think it's keeping you from situations that you want to be in, and it's putting you into situations that you don't necessarily want to be in, but you find yourself in, and you're kind of caught in like this situation where it's like a tumbleweed. I got this feeling of a tumbleweed where you just can't stop, it's kind of like home. Usually when I see a Three of Swords around any kind of fire or any kind of water as well, I put that towards some trauma. Fire being passion and working with and doing things just on the off the cuff, I guess you could say, and then emotions, going through something, feeling things, and so we've got the Two of Wands and the Three of Swords here. We sort of have a progression, and I feel that the way your impulsiveness is coming from something that has happened to you in the past, and that's why we kind of have this immature energy. But death is saying that it's time to change. And the only way to institute change is if you are aware of what is going on and you can see kind of on a bird's eye view, right? You can see the situation, and then you become more aware of it, and then you can put a stop to it. Okay, you can be aware of it, you can put a stop to it, and then as you get better at noticing these things, you can start to change, alter the way that you're approaching it, alter the way that you're perceiving it. You can change your perception in a way that you don't need to be as combative. You don't need to throw your fire and air. Air ignites fire. Air gives fire that breath to keep going. Fire needs air. But if we put too much air into it, it can burn out of control. Now with the Nine of Wands, I really do like that we have the Lover's card here. And that's why I was telling you that I feel that it puts you in situations that you don't really want to be in. However, you find yourself in that situation quite often, in a combative situation, because you're so used to being in that type of situation. That's where it's comfortable. That's where you find your home. Okay. We also have the Fool here, and I like that the Fool is looking towards the Lovers, because in this type of situation, it's, if you want to combat this immaturity, you kind of have to go into it not knowing what to expect. You have to go into this situation not having an ideal situation, or what is it, an expectation, right? If you have expectations, you have too much expectation, you're more likely to get disappointed. Okay, now we can have things that we can accept from others. We can have a way that we see our life going, a way that we want to be treated and things like that, but we can't have specific expectations saying that, well, I'm going to do this and then this person's going to respond this way and then this is going to happen. And that's where we get disappointed. And so the way to release some of this fire energy, to let kind of tamper down the fire a little bit, if you think of those old lanterns where you turn the knob, which pulls down the wick. Just by turning the knob a little bit, the wick kind of retreats back into the little mechanism and the flame goes down a bit. I use one of those old-timey lamps outside when I work with the moon, because I do need a little bit of light out there. You can hear that rustling. That's my cats playing in my purse. Oh my goodness, I love those kitties. They drive me nuts though. Okay, so now one thing that I am sort of puzzled by is that we have this Four of Wands in reverse underneath the Lovers and the Fool here. And I am very puzzled by it, because I would have liked to have seen this in the reverse, because sometimes I feel this as being the ending, as all of this is moving towards an end. So what this is telling me is that the work that this change that needs to be instituted, the work is not going to stop there. This is sort of like a beginning for you. This is a beginning for you to realize a change in perspective is what's needed to help you get to where you want to be, to help you ultimately get to this place of celebration, to this place of happiness. And you really need to come out of this darkness, so to say, and get this animal reined in a bit, so that you aren't on this defensive position all the time, so that you aren't forced to be there. That's not your comfort zone anymore. And once you get past that situation, I feel like there's another situation, another type hurdle that's going to need to be overcome. And that's what I feel. That's what I see here for you, Aries. Yeah, so it's all about a change in perspective. Just looking at things differently can help. You know, this is getting some real Hanged Man vibes, right? So what a great reading. What a great way to bring in this new moon. You know, working with the new moon is a way to set some intentions, right? And we have I think it's on the 4th, so we've got 5 days, 4 days, 4 or 5 days. So we've got some time to prepare, and I'm going to do a reading for the full moon, and I'm going to put together maybe a little ritual that we all can do to help us harness this energy, to work with this energy, and we're going to use a tarot reading to guide us through that. So I haven't exactly determined if I need to do the tarot reading first and then come up with maybe a little ritual, a little ceremony to do. I'm just gonna have to pray on that a little bit, and then we'll see. It'll come to me. It usually does. So thanks for watching, Leo. Hey, no, kitty, no. Oh my God, she's climbing on my curtains. No, this is my rambunctious cat. Her name is Roxy. And she's my sepia. I don't know how to say that word. It's that coffee stain photograph lens or filter that you can put on. Sepia. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. All right. Yes, so I am going to ask that if you have not subscribed. If you like the video, like the reading, do the thumbs up button. And if you know anyone who can benefit from this reading, they don't necessarily have to be an Aries, because as I say, that we have all of these zodiac signs within ourself because of the house system. We're all born under the same stars, and they all pass. They've all influenced us in a way. There's all kinds of aspects. We've got planets in different positions, and they are within the zodiac signs as well. So we have all of these signs within ourselves, within our personality, within our soul, within our spirit. So you don't have to be an Aries to benefit from this. So if you know of anyone who can benefit, please share, and I will see you in a day or two, and we will do the new moon reading. Take care and have a nice day. Bye-bye.